score book and exactly how it needs to be, just to keep any confusion out, because a lot of times at the end of the day when we take these home, obviously we are not at all the games, but when we get score sheets at home, it wouldn't designate which team was which. It would put sometimes it'd have a color, sometimes it'd have a number, sometimes it wouldn't have anything. So this is just to make it uniform to where everyone's doing the score sheet the same way. It makes it easier for us to not have mistakes. Okay, so with that, I'll turn things over.
And before I get started, I'm gonna let you know, Ashlyn, she does uniforms.
Oh,
Do you
sorry.
wanna talk about that and tell them? Okay, I thought so,
She's
that's
not,
our daughter.
she's not the speaker.
With uniforms, we talked to the gentleman today again. The uniforms will not be here until Friday, so we will set up in the gym Friday. I'm hoping at 6 o'clock until, or 6:30 sometime, until 8, but anyway, we'll let you know, we'll send out an email. The uniforms, he had a problem he sent it out to have the front printed. They had a problem with their press, so he didn't get it back till late last night. So he's telling me it's gonna be Friday before I get them. So, look for that email to come, just to give y'all a heads up. All right, so now, on to the score sheet. If you look in your folders, each folder it tells you line for line what to do, how to keep, it gives you information about how to keep score, and you're welcome to read that. And if you have any questions, I'm willing to help answer anything. But I'm not going to go down the list. I'm going to go over this, because this right here is the most important thing besides winning for the team. Okay, to them that's the most. But this, if I don't get this back right, I don't know, then I have to call, I have to find out. And I have had coaches forget, and I'm like, you don't remember how many you won? So, and it's been an issue for one team last year. So we have changed it, and it has changed a lot. Now last year we had already changed it to this form, but this year we have a different program, which I'll get into in a few minutes. So, but scorekeepers, you have 2 scorekeepers. Both scorekeepers need to write their names in these blanks, and please print them, because I just print them, because I can't read his writing. I love him, but I can't read his writing. So if you will print your name there, and the flag people, whoever's keeping the flags, they need to write on here their names. I don't care if it's Amy, she's 14. She's still got to write her name on there. Or if you know her, just write, the scorekeeper can write their names for them. That is new. That is the newest thing. And there's a reason for it. Well, I'll go ahead and tell you the reason. At the end of the season this year, everyone who keeps score is going to every week. If you keep score for 5 weeks, you're going to have your name in the drawing 5 times. If you keep score 1 time, you're going to have it in there 1 time. When I get these home, I'm going to write your name, and I'll go look up all the other information, and I'm going to put it on this, and I'm going to put it in the drawing to win. At the end of the season this year, we're going to have lots of restaurants who've donated to dinner for 2, movie tickets, gift cards, all kinds of things. We're planning on just overloading it. What I would love is for everybody to win something, so we are going to really work on that. In order to do that, I need these filled out in plain print so I can see who is going to be. Because I'm not going to have time to go chasing and say, oh, Coach so-and-so, who kept your scorebook? They didn't write it down. Who did your flag? They didn't write it down, so you'll miss out.
If it's blank, it's blank.
If it's blank, it's blank, and so we need to make sure that's filled out.
So the line judges are in the drawing.
The line judges too. And this is, the reason we've decided to do that this year is coaches have been really having a hard time finding someone to keep their book, finding someone to do the line judge. So I'm hoping that this is an encouragement to say, hey, you know what, at the end of the season, I'm going to get rewarded. So, this is the plan. So anyway, so that is the plan. And if you can relay that to your parents, hey, you're doing it, and it might be a problem, but even if they only do it once a time, they're still going to have their name in that drawing. But if they do it what we play 8 weeks?
8 weeks.
If they do it 8, then their name's in there 8 times.
And we play 2 matches each week. So.
Yeah, and you play 2, so you could have it in there 16 times if you did it both times. So, I'm just saying, it's important to fill that out, and it's important because, and like I said, it's purely to try to help the coaches, to get, where they don't have to race around, somebody's like, oh, I'll do that, you know.
To help the coaches and also to say thank you for people who volunteer.
Yeah, because it's not easy, because I don't like to keep score.
It's much more
I don't
fun
do it.
a lot of times to sit up there and just cheer without any responsibility.
Okay, anyone that has played against me knows that I cannot concentrate on this while it's going on because I am too busy cheering. So I lose track. So whoever keeps score next to me hates me. So that's just me, I can't do it. So I'm screaming and yelling and ranting and raving. So anyway, yeah, exactly. But anyway, so please relay that to anyone that wants to help. And like I said, if you want to keep it the whole time, that's more names for you. All right, so now to the real important stuff. When you're keeping score, you're going to check off, you're just going to put it, I don't care if you X out the number as they score, I don't care how you do it, but circle the end total. The end, like let's say team, I wish I had, where's get my sample? Yeah, my sample's in there, it's right here. Get that sample out. Good. Okay, so if you look at my sample, which is not just like this one, because this is from last year, so it doesn't have the line judges on there. So I crossed them off and that's fine. But at the end, you circle what their score was. Then at the end, you're gonna write winner or lost, you know, W or L. That way I know for sure, even if I'm looking, because a lot of times the scores are a lot closer than that. They're like one, you know, just 2 points away, or at the end of it, it could be just 1 point away. So I'm not positive because sometimes there's doodles on it and things like that that I don't know. So if you will circle, make sure you circle the final score and then just write W or L. Over here, you're gonna write the team name and number. This one is for 00, which was, well,
It's just an example.
it's 100, yeah, that's 100, it didn't print it, that's why. Okay, but anyway, you can just, I don't care if it just says Yellow Hammers. I don't care if it just says Rebel, as long as it has your name on there. Because you are in the system by your number and your name, but I prefer that the name be there because that's what I remember when I think something, I automatically think of the team name and the head coach. So, and I'm strange that way. So if you can just write your team name there. Now something that has kind of gotten away from the coaches even, if you look right here, it says you're gonna go down here, you're gonna write their team name. You're gonna write you won 2, you lost 1. And this is what this one is, or whatever it is. But that coach needs to come over, each coach has to come and sign it. So now they're looking, now I can see, okay, the Yellow Hammers won 2 and they lost 1. When the Rebels came in, well, wait a minute, they lost 1, they won 1 and lost 2. So it's all there, the coaches can see it, they don't have to look through this, they're just purely signing off on it, okay? And the referee has to sign off on it. She or he, you know, I put ref there because, you know, should have put ball. But anyway, so they have to sign off and the coaches have to sign off. And the coaches, when they're winning, they're excited and they don't think about it. When they're lost, they're depressed and they don't think about it. So you're probably gonna have to get them to come over to you to sign it. It's not their fault, they're just being real busy and trying to get shifted. So, anyway, but these are super important to get filled out correctly. Also, if you look in your file, and if you see you have both of these, you have a blank one and the instructions. Yes, sir?
So are these forms going to be available game day or is it?
They'll all be in the book.
I'll show you the book in just a second. I'll show you all the book. So, yes, sir?
If it goes, the score's 30 to 29, is it over?
Yes. It's win by 2 until you get to the point of it being 29-29 or 19-19. At that point, next point's gonna win. We don't have a tie.
Yeah, there's no ties in this league.
And that's the times when we see sometimes people forget to circle that last one because it's so exciting and
Yeah.
everybody's, and they forget to mark that last point. We're sitting there 29-29 not knowing what happened. So that's circle it and then go celebrate.
Yep.
Yeah.
For the serving, what's the best way, when you guys, how you guys want us to mark it, because you know they're only allowed 5 serves.
Right.
So what, how do you guys want us to show
That, that's really up to you because it's not something that has to be recorded for us. Just something that lets you know when their serve started, when this person's serve started, and counts off 5. That's, there's really not a set.
I know one lady that I sat next to when I flipped the score, because I can actually flip it a little bit better because they
You
keep,
can scream.
I'll tell them ahead of time, hey, keep me in track with you. She took, and the top sheet that was up there, because it flips over, so the top sheet that was up there, she was putting every time somebody would serve, she put a little tally mark, and then she scribbled through it. So if you write on the back of one of the score sheets, I don't care. Go ahead and, if this one's full already, and you're writing on the back of it, it's fine. I'm not even gonna look at the back, I won't even know probably. So if you wanna put your little 5 marks there, that's fine. All right.
Something that you don't know yet, because
Okay.
I talked about this with Bob. All right, in the past, we've had the officials, when we start, they'd flip a coin to see who's gonna be who's gonna be home and visitor, okay? Really, that served no purpose because we all play out of the same gym, so there was no advantage to be gained. So what we're gonna do, I've gotta get with Eric, we're gonna have a home and visitor on the wall. Whichever team sits on the bench closest to the score is gonna be your home team. Whoever sits on the bench away from it's gonna be the visitors. That way the person flipping will know which side's gonna be the home side. It's gonna make it much simpler and easy to
But they'll
distinguish.
still flip to see who serves.
Yes, yeah, we're still
And
gonna
we'll
flip.
know, the coaches will know who's the visitor for that particular game and who's the home or the.
Just
or the
whichever bench
referee.
you get to, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
There's no advantage at all to being home or visitor.
I just didn't know if you
Yeah.
guys put us on a certain side of the court.
Because one sits on the home side and the other visitor side. There's no social. Does it have anything to do with this? Does it have anything to do with this?
Just versus.
Okay, so we'll see about that one.
So nobody's gonna tell us they need to be on either
No.
side, it's just if we
Nobody's
come
gonna-
into the,
You're distinguished to a court.
okay, so it doesn't.
Whichever bench you sit on is whichever bench you sit on. It makes no difference.
Alright,
The only time that you may run into is, that if one of the coaches wants to swap sides, like you'll play one match on this side. Now technically, we don't have a problem with that anymore. Used to, we would swap every match no matter what, but because we put the sun blockers up there now, it doesn't affect the court, so most of the time they don't switch. But if one, like, let's say David and Dennis are coaching, and Dennis comes up and says, hey, I wanna switch courts. And David says, I don't, you're gonna move courts. Don't argue, you're
Move
moving
ends,
courts.
not courts.
Yeah, what, switch ends, switch sides. So, if one wants to, if you both don't want to, that's fine. But if one says, yes, I wanna switch, and the other one says, hey, I really don't want to, just know that you're gonna switch, cause that's, yeah, and that's just after a set, so. If you look, yes, I'm sorry, and I know she had a question too, yeah, go ahead.
The flipper on the board,
Mhm.
so is that the same person that's doing it?
Yes,
There'll be one person doing the sheet, one person doing the flip.
The same person?
No, it's two
no,
different people.
no, it's 2 different people, and the reason we do that too is they're one from each team, so that you're keeping each other honest, not that anybody would, I mean, it's not life-threatening here.
Yes.
But it's one of those things that, in other words, this lady can keep me in control of flipping,
Right.
making sure I'm flipping right. And there has been a time where the flip was different than what the little scorebook was, and then they talk about it and we get it worked out. So it's just double checking everybody.
I had to do them both one time.
Oh, that's the
Yeah, I
thing.
can see it would
When you're
be.
behind it and pull the numbers over,
Yeah.
it starts to get.
Yeah, definitely the other coach should have had somebody helping you. So, and